Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Arkariem with Karie Gonia and Edgar Stephens. As always, our format is to ask one another a question about a specific topic and then to round robin going back and forth about that question so that we can explore it from a place of head, heart, and spirit. Before we dig into today's topic, which is acceptance, we are going to introduce ourselves. Karie, can you let everyone know who you are, please?
Hi, everyone. My name is Karie Gonia, and I'm a facilitator in a therapy called Family Constellation Therapy. I help people clean up ancestral trauma within their lineage.
And I am Edgar Stephens. I am a clinical hypnotherapist, and I provide coaching and consulting services to individuals, corporations, and nonprofit organizations. Together, we are Arkariem, and we're going to start with acceptance today. Karie, would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I would love to go first. You know that I love tools, Mark, so I'm excited about this question. I am curious how we can move the conscious and the subconscious mind together. They definitely seem like they're at odds, and how can we move them into acceptance when we're working through something?
You are correct when you say that they're at odds with one another. When people come to me for the work that I do, so often they want to make a conscious change in their life. So it can be about changing a lifestyle habit, the way that the person eats or fitness, but it can also be the end of a relationship. It can be a change in career, change in money, whatever the thing may be. And when they are going through the letting go process, the letting go process always requires a certain amount of acceptance, because even if it's something you want to change, there is a certain amount of grief that comes up. Now, sometimes that grief is very deep, very real. End of a relationship, bankruptcy, an extreme failure, a public humiliation, any of those things. And those things happen. What happens with the conscious and the subconscious mind is that they will be at odds with one another. The conscious mind will say, hey, I want to make this change. I want to move into this new thing. But the subconscious mind, whose job is to keep us in what we know, is sitting there like the little kid going, nope, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to make a change. I'm not going to do this any differently. The reason why is because by keeping us in what we know, the subconscious mind thinks that it's keeping us safe or feels that it's keeping us safe. That's its job. And so in hypnotherapy, one of the things that I do is we take a look at what happens when you do begin to accept, when you begin to accept this change. What are the positives? What are the things that can come from this? And so what we do is we line up then the incongruence in the subconscious mind with the subconscious mind to make them congruent. Basically, what that looks like is the thing that I want in terms of my conscious self. Let me find all the subconscious reasons for why I would not let myself have that. And also all of the subconscious reasons for why this would be something very good for me. Once we put those two things together, then we can move into acceptance. Time and again, I see people want to make the shift or want to make the move, and they try to do it through pure willpower. Acceptance in terms of, okay, here's this thing, but I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go through it anyway. I'm going to put on a happy face. I'm going to plow through this thing. And they're able to do it for a little while, but the reason they can't keep going is because the subconscious mind is theorized to be about 88% of the thought process, and the conscious mind only 12%. And in that differentiation, 88% is almost always going to win over 12%. So acceptance is about creating that congruence between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So for anybody that's listening, anytime that you feel like you failed, and I'm putting that in quotations, because you weren't able to willpower your way through, that's the reason why. 12% versus 88%. I would take my odds with the 88%. So once we can get into a place of acceptance that includes both the subconscious and the conscious mind, then we can move into full acceptance.
Wow, 88%. I mean, I already know those statistics, but that's a lot. I forget about that sometimes, and the subconscious feels like the bully on the block, you know?
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
subconscious is the
Yeah.
bully on the block, because I mean, it really is. It's saying,
Yeah.
nope, we're not going to,
Yeah.
I know you want to make this change. I know you want to move into acceptance or into forgiveness or whatever the thing may be, but I'm going to hold on to what I know because that's my job. You know what I mean? I don't try to take my job away from me.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
You are welcome. Here's my question for you. What happens when we move into acceptance of something that seems unacceptable?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel like the charge goes away, right? because sometimes I see this in my work a lot. I love that you spoke of willpower, because I think that there's so much information out there. If you just say an affirmation like everything's going to be fine by Tuesday at 2, and your nervous system obviously and your brain doesn't work that way, and trauma doesn't work that way. And so I think moving into acceptance and granting yourself that grace and that peace takes that charge away. So then I feel like it actually allows your nervous system to become curious about other options or other avenues of moving forward. Because in my work, so much of this stuff is programs, right? Like it's inherited generational trauma, or it's programs, or it's conditioning from childhood, which then your subconscious mind is kind of running the show. But I see a lot with clients, people fighting against acceptance because they're working so hard to try and change something. So I think moving into that stillness and that curiosity actually allows you the space to heal and move in a different direction if that's what you choose, you know.
So with that, Karie, one of the things that you're hitting on there that is, that applies to my work is, for me, it's creating the space for something new. You said the word possibilities. And so when we are in non-acceptance of something that seems unacceptable, we don't have enough space for the new thing to come in, and it actually holds the old thing in place. There's no blame or shame or guilt around that, but we hold the old thing in place because I'm not going to accept the betrayal. I'm not going to accept the death. I'm not going to accept the failure. I'm not going to accept whatever the thing may be. And once we move into acceptance, we actually create more space for something new to happen, or a new experience, or even a shift in perspective about that thing that felt like it was unacceptable. So that's how it, relates into my work.
Spirit always they use like analogies and metaphors with me, but they always tell me it's like a big energetic stop sign, right? Because sometimes, and I'm really guilty of this sometimes, of just being in resistance, not knowing I'm in resistance because I'm trying to figure out how to like work through the problem, or willpower my way through it. And so I think sitting in that curiosity and allowing the space to even move the needle towards acceptance actually helps you like sit in acceptance, especially now. I feel like we've had to accept a lot in the last year, and I think it's been really challenging. I would imagine from a mind perspective, but from a soul perspective also, just accepting where you're at in the moment.
Exactly what you're saying. Like, I mean, the mind has had to wrap around a lot in the
Yeah.
past,
Yeah.
in 20, certainly in 2020,
Yeah.
of, we're not doing the game is not the same as it was before. It's changed. And so, and again, remembering the subconscious mind is going, yeah, but we don't like change. So we want to, when's it all going to get back to normal? And I think normal has shifted, normal has changed. And being in acceptance of that will allow us to find new ways to approach life, new ways to approach acceptance, new ways to approach what we've lost, and to grieve it, to mourn it, and then to celebrate what we've learned from it. Because I truly believe every experience has the possibility of providing opportunity, has provide a blessing. A blessing is the word that I like to use, and I do believe that is possible with every trauma, with every unacceptable thing that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So if you have a question for us out there, and you'd like to just write to us, and there's something that you would like to hear us speak about, talk about, discuss, provide some tools about, you can write to us at talktoarkarium@gmail.com. That's TALK, the number 2, arkariem@gmail.com. Now, every episode, I love hearing Karie take us out with some thought or some feeling or some perspective about the subject we're discussing. So, Karie, along the lines of acceptance, would you just take us out with something beautiful and very Karie?
I would encourage people to look around your life and see if there are things that you need to move into acceptance with, and sit with it. See if you can move the needle even slightly in that direction. And if not, see what comes up and allow that to heal. But but be conscious and be present and move towards acceptance.